I would give you the world, but gravity holds tight.
All right, everyone. We are here at the Sample Studio with Public Mind. I'm so happy to have you guys here. We've had some fun already filming our weekend update and all the shenanigans. And we have a new EP coming out we're going to talk about today, amongst some other special things. So let's get into it. Please introduce yourself, Steven, Guy.
Yeah, I'm Stephen Burton. I play guitar and sing for Public Mind.
And I'm Guy. I'm the bassist for Public Mind.
Ooh. So tell me, I know we have other parts to our bands that are not here. Who are we missing?
Yeah, so we've got 3 additional members who couldn't make it today. Jason and Justin Hadden. They have a group called Red Foxwood. And Jason plays piano and Justin plays guitar, and they both sing backup vocals for Public Mind. And then Stephen Bryant is our drummer, and he does vocals live sometimes as well, and does other things as far as producing and studio work and stuff like that. So
he plays pretty much any instrument on the studio work. So yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he also plays sax, right?
yeah.
We love a sax in Augusta, that's for sure. Can you tell me a little bit more about each of you individually as yourself?
So me and this guy right here have been playing music together for a very long time. We started kind of like in punk, kind of like emo scene back in the day, playing in bands together, and both kind of got more into bluesy, psychedelic type music, post high school and stuff like that, and into like jamming a little more. And so our music is a just a big mix of all our influences coming up as kids, and then everything that's completely different from where we started. So it turns out to be a pretty unique sound.
Yeah, cause I actually learned to play bass in our first band. He taught me some bass lines, and I learned them poorly, but I learned them. And so that's where I got started on the bass, and from there I just kind of developed my own sound, my own techniques, and that's why it's so weird. But
You're so weird.
we grew up together as of like teenage years. He looks funny, and
yeah. So from teenage years to now, like, what are some of the bigger influences, musicians on Public Mind, especially with this next record coming out?
That's so tough to say. I mean, it's definitely a lot of different things. I would say this band that's on this guy's shirt is a huge influence on at least 3 out of the 5 members of the band. But we all have common influences as far as like more like pop punk and punk style music from the early 2000s and stuff like that. Everybody in the band is a big fan of like Weezer. Everybody in the band is I think that's probably the only one I really know off the top of my head. I could say for all 5.
right.
But I mean, me and this guy right here, we're heavily influenced by the Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to hide that. I love the Chili Peppers.
Yeah. Flea is a huge influence on my bass lines. Matt Freeman of Rancid, he's one of the first musicians, I guess you could say, I kind of tried to emulate in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, strangely enough, we don't know a single Red Hot Chili Pepper song all the way through. As far as covering them, we've never really done it. We, messed around with Scar Tissue live one time when someone requested it, but yeah, we don't really play any Chili Pepper songs.
That's my
but
fault.
they are a huge influence on us. I mean, my first favorite song that I can remember from being a little kid was Under the Bridge. So
that's probably my favorite song from them, Under the Bridge.
Yeah, it just goes back
Sure.
to being like a 3-year-old kid. So
I could see you guys starting off with something really easy like Porcelain. Don't know porcelain.
Oh, that's a great
Yeah,
song.
that's
Yeah.
a beautiful song for
That-
sure.
it'd
I
be
think
it.
Sir Psycho Sexy is my favorite.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I think they're talking about you in that song. Sir Psycho Sexy. Yeah. So with the other half of the band, Red Foxwood mostly, how did that come together?
Ooh.
All of you.
I actually want to answer that one. So we were actually walking down the alley in Aiken and they were playing across at Tailgate Tavern as Red Foxwood, and they've got one more member, of course. And we ran across them and they sounded great, so we just stood there and watched. And then later on, they started, two of the Hadden brothers started throwing the open mic every Tuesday at the Alley Tap Room. And from there, we went and played, and they really enjoyed our music. We were actually the epitome at that time when we were playing there initially.
Like you guys as a duo, or
Yeah, we had another project that
you were called the Epitome?
Yeah, the Epitome. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Public Mind existed before that, and then the Epitome and Public Mind kind of merged back into one
Okay.
Public Mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So that ultimately the Public Mind absorbed the epitome.
yeah.
Would you say that's, I don't know, kind of how you rationalize the name Public Mind, or not? Tell me about that.
Public Mind goes back to, basically it goes back to the first time I ever wrote a riff that I was like, okay, this is not just some chords I threw together. This is like something that is totally different. I've never heard this before, and it's totally unique. The first time I ever had a riff like that, I was 15, and it just felt like it came from somewhere else. It felt like it didn't come from me. It felt like I was more like channeling it through me, and
Drawing it from the
and
ether.
every good piece of music that I've ever been a part of has felt that way. There are some pieces that you just kind of, you try to force, and I try not to do that, but it's different when it genuinely just comes out of nowhere, and so that's what the name Public Mind was kind of based upon. It's just the idea of like the Akashic record, like some energy that's surrounding the earth of creative intelligence that we can tap into if we get into the right state of mind. So.
Yeah, I've always known you guys to be pretty astral, so yeah, Public Mind fits. Okay. What about some of your first shows? Tell me about that, when you guys started as Public Mind.
Well, actually, that's a great question, man. The Epitome. So during COVID, there was nowhere to play. When Public Mind had a different lineup pre-COVID, like before COVID, and we had a bunch of shows get canceled all through the summer, and so there was nowhere to play during that time. And me and this guy just started up the Epitome again. And so we started going out to Family Jam at the old Southbound Smokehouse in Augusta that Matt Doyle was throwing every Sunday night. And that was just it was a saving grace.
It really was. We got Bentley Rhodes to jam a few times with us
Wow.
initially, and he really made the song sound great. He was on drums.
So we would go out there and play our originals, and Bentley, or we had a couple other drummers sit in with us, and it was just always such a great time. And that's really where the Epitome was able to go out and start playing again, and that gave us the momentum to get to where we are today, for sure. So that Family Jam that was going on every Sunday, during some of those times where a lot of things were still shut down, was where we were able to really start to blossom.
Yeah, Matt Doyle picking up the torch and just carrying Family Jam to where it is today. That's been basically a cornerstone in the music scene with the Augusta area.
Yeah, I think for a lot of musicians, even now, Sundays at the new Southbound Family Jams, which y'all will be there before this airs, but I'll see you guys on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll be there.
So we have the old Family Jams, but what about some of your other favorite shows together as a group?
Oh,
Well, Wormhole actually. I think February, we played Wormhole in Savannah for the first time, and that was a really really fun show. That's a really cool bar where people go there specifically to see live music. They got a nice stage and a nice sound system, really cool sound guy. So that was probably one of my favorite shows that we had played.
Yeah, yeah, and we actually have a show coming up at the Wormhole on the 21st of April.
Yeah, we'll be back there Friday, April 21st with Estimated Principles.
Yeah, so that's going to be a really fun show. Estimated Principles, of course, is another local Augusta band, and they have such great live energy that it's very.
Yeah, those kids are wild.
They are.
Yeah, we love them. What do you want to see more in like some of these upcoming shows?
We are about to release our EP, and we're about to start, trying to do more solely original shows out of town and stuff like that. So, trying to get a little bit more crowd involvement going on, and just try to make the shows more fun. And I mean, we already bring a lot of energy, so I mean, we always want to try to just step it up and do better and do more. So.
And we're going to be doing more of the original music shows, more of the 45-minute sets, as opposed to some of the 3-hour shows where we work on original songs in, just to kind of push this 5-song EP we've got coming up.
And where's that going to be released?
It's going to be released in the next couple weeks. I don't have a day that it's going to be out, but it'll definitely be out by the end of April.
Yeah, you're going to stream it everywhere else.
Yeah, it'll be releasing to Spotify, iTunes,
all streaming.
Yeah, all streaming services, YouTube. It'll be everywhere. And if you just follow us on social media at public_mind on Instagram, or follow us on Facebook, Public Mind Music on YouTube, you'll be able to catch it when it drops.
So now that we've led up to this record, which y'all have been working on for a minute,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have some stories to tell, including the story behind it. So let's dig into that.
Well, the first track that we recorded was Alien, and we went to Lead Belly Studios over in Dawsonville, Georgia, to record that with Matt Washburn.
Yeah, Matt Washburn is amazing. He's a wizard on Pro Tools, and we highly recommend him for any artist who really wants a professional studio setup to record at. So
yeah, he's done some big records. I know at least the first couple of Mastodon's records he worked on.
The first 3.
Another really great band from up in Greenville, 7 Year Witch. He did their
Doc
EP.
Holliday was their name at the time.
Yeah, I think Doc Holliday was their name at the time. But yeah, so we went there for our first track, Alien, and we actually had another drummer at that time, and had some issues. And our new drummer, Stephen Bryant, ended up re-recording those drums over there with Jeff Abel. And I forget what it's called, Pulse, at Pulse Recording Studio. Yeah, so we redid the drums there and re-released Alien. And then we ended up doing our next track, Fluid Motion, at our home studio, a little makeshift home studio that we got going on.
And we released that last year, around...
we released that last July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been planning and working on these songs for a while, and it's finally coming to fruition. We've got more songs that we wanted to put together, but we wanted to go ahead and get these released. Public
Mind has been in kind of a growing phase the past past year or two, with Jason and Justin joining the band. We've got them on 2 of the new tracks that are going to be on the 5-song EP. So they're not on every single song on the EP. The first 2, Alien and Fluid Motion, that we released were as a trio. Right. So we're really happy to have these guys on the 2 new tracks that are going to be on the 5-song EP, Scavenger and Current Events.
So who mostly wrote it between all of you, and what's the context behind the record and each of these songs?
As far as the writing, Stephen and Burton and I, we actually do the majority of the writing, and we do this. We write the lyrics.
Very lyrical.
Yeah, the interesting thing is these songs are from a very large expanse of time. So Alien was written really back in like 2012, and it grew into what it is today. Something in the Air is around that same time, and Fluid Motion is even prior to that. And then Scavenger and Current Events are like brand new songs. So we got 3 songs that are songs that have been around a long time, and we never had a chance to get them where they needed to be recorded and released, and now they are. So that's really cool, hearing songs that you always knew, had the potential, and finally getting them to the point where they're ready to put out there. But then Scavenger and Current Events are pretty much brand new tracks that were written since he and I re-emerged as the Epitome and started playing shows as the Epitome again, and they turned into Public Mind songs, and we kind of shared.
So it carried over.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to having you guys play some of that today. I think that's gonna be pretty awesome. I don't think we've ever had anyone like play live here in the Sample Studio.
Okay.
Oh,
all
well,
right.
we're breaking ground.
No? Yeah, you are. I really want us to like focus on like the context behind these songs, like the meanings, like where do these lyrics stem from, like.
Well, I think the one that would be most relevant to address would be Current Events, and he and I wrote the lyrics to that one together. It was April of 2020, or just after COVID had really been hyped up and everything, and it just is a song of hope, really. The chorus is, "It's not over yet, as bad as it gets. We won't forfeit. The future isn't set." And it's just kind of an affirmation of hope, And the verses are all about the kind of the ominous feeling and everything that surrounded that whole time. So
Yeah, and it's really funny to see the two of us collaborating on song lyrics, because sometimes it looks like we get so angry with each other and like we're fighting, and not really, but
it's a bit exaggerated.
well, I mean, sometimes I do want to like hurt you.
The Public Mind soap opera.
But it never happens. It has yet to happen.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
So that song started with the line, "I sure hope this isn't it, hoping this is not the end," and just kind of went from there. And we started, arguing over lines, and eventually it came out into something we could both accept.
Yeah, and we worked on like the melodies together. I don't sing, but you don't want to hear me sing, but I do write some cool melodies. So
For sure.
Where do you write your melodies on? Your bass or piano?
my head,
Well, I mean, how do you sound them out?
my voice,
Oh,
it just sounds really bad. But no.
He can communicate to me kind of like the idea of the basic
one of
idea.
those like.
Yeah, and then if I'm doing something, he'll often give me like an idea for a different thing I could do at this certain point. Just instead of doing this, do this. Just trial and error.
So this sounds like the early process of when you're writing these tracks. So what happens next when you bring the whole band together?
Oh yeah. So when we bring the whole band together, it's crazy, because all these guys, the Hadden brothers and Stephen Bryant, even Stephen Burton, they're all just so professional. They just know what they're doing, and it's almost like Stephen was speaking of before about the just drawing the energy. It's like the energy there. It's in the room, and they just immediately draw that energy, and the song's pretty much already written. And it's just amazing how everything falls together so quickly.
Yeah, we're really fortunate to have the guys in the band that we have. it's been it's been a long time. He and I trying to find a drummer, trying to find members to form a band.
So where do you see the band going after this record for the rest of the year?
We're going to be focusing on getting to other regional cities. We're going to be in Savannah upcoming this month. We've got a weekend booked in Charleston in July, and just trying to get out and spread the word about our EP and get the songs out there.
Yeah, we're going to work on just conquering the region first, because there's plenty of opportunity, and we just got to go seize it. Because if we don't, then what are we doing?
Well, so speaking of opportunity, obviously events like the series, the Family Jam series, has been opportunistic for you guys. What other Augusta events or things have been opportunistic or have, fed the development of the band?
Oh, actually, here recently we played a few a couple cover songs and an original song at Chevy's nightclub over in the Martinez, and we got a show booked at the Loft on April 28th out of being heard there. So that was actually a great opportunity.
I noticed that the Loft has started in the last month, started booking more live music.
Yeah, I saw that. I've seen that too. That's really cool.
Maybe do you guys see yourselves, playing residency or series somewhere like the Loft?
I mean, I'd love to. The thing about it is, we're an original band. We focus on originals, but, we'll play. We put our own spin on a lot of different types of cover songs. So when we do cover something, it tends to be pretty fun. And, so we don't mind playing 3-hour shows where we're doing a good bit of covers.
And those shows actually help fund our recordings, because we record ourselves. Our workflow is that we record ourselves, and then we send it off to Matt Washburn at Billy Studios, and he mixes and masters, does the engineering, and he just blows us away.
Yeah, and it's something like a residency. I mean, if you're playing that often, you're gonna get tighter. Even if you're playing a lot of cover songs,
Yeah.
it's gonna be in the benefit of us as a band, as a unit, for sure.
If you guys could have anyone, join the band from Augusta, who would it be?
Oh wow,
Oh, that's
my goodness.
And on what, obviously.
What a question. Well, so, I would love to have somebody in the band who would be like a multi-instrumentalist, who could do
Yeah.
like slide guitar, or for example, I have Ebo recorded on Alien, or who could, just
pick up.
do something like a saxophone, like,
Yeah.
like just somebody who could do some stuff like that. I don't know of anybody specifically by name, that I would necessarily want.
Name drop someone.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
There's so much talent out there
Yeah.
that, like, if we were just to name one person, then that wouldn't be exemplary of what we actually would want.
yeah, and at the point we're at right now, we're just trying to work with what we've got and make the best of what we've got, because
So what is that? All that you got?
so I
Tell
mean,
us about that.
well, just being fortunate enough to have musicians who are as talented and as cool as Stephen Bryant, Jason Hadden, and Justin Hadden in the band. We like I said, we worked for a long time to find a drummer, to find members who not only could play well, but who you can get along with, who are just professional. And we're very fortunate to have that, and that's why we're trying to really go full speed ahead with the EP. And we've got a full length in mind. We've already got a title for it. We've got several other recordings that are already in the works, so we're working to get a full length release by the end of this year, and just try to book as much as we can and play as much as we can.
Are there any venues that y'all haven't played yet that you'd
Yeah,
like to get into in Augusta?
in the Augusta area.
Yeah.
Uh, we would like to be playing on the big stages, but I don't
I'd
know.
say Gransky's. We'd love to do a show
That's a
at
big
Gransky
stage.
Records. Yeah.
It's a pretty big
Yeah.
stage for a local venue. Yeah, we haven't played Gransky's yet. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Seems like a really cool thing they've got going on there, starting to do live music on a regular basis. And, we saw Estimated Principles there a few weeks ago. That was a really cool show.
Now y'all are playing a show together.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you
definitely.
guys going to collaborate at all on this next show, or is it just a part of
I
lineup?
don't think we don't have anything planned to collaborate, but that would be cool. That's
We're
not a
not
bad
against
idea.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe last minute.
Our
Noted.
Try to throw
Estimated
something together.
Principles. Note that.
our last show, we or not the last show, but this past Friday we played at the Highlander over in North Augusta, and we had a guy named Nick Thomas that I made friends with. We had him sit in on a few cover songs, and it sounded amazing. He's a great guitarist. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So you guys have had like quite the journey just together from the trio to now as Public Mind. Like, what's some of the takeaways that you've had that you would share with other bands who are trying to, explore, especially going regional?
We're kind of just getting into that. I'm looking to try to learn myself. But as far as starting a band, and having a vision, you just have to be resilient and be ready to fail multiple times,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then pick up the pieces and continue on. And if you stay true to your vision and just keep the faith that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, then it'll work out.
And my biggest piece of advice is not to scatter yourself too thin trying to do several different projects, but to find one that you are very passionate about and really focus your energy on that one. I mean, not to say that you can't do several projects, but if you're really interested in getting yourself off the ground, you really need to find the one that really warms your heart.
Yeah, you have to have like
Yeah.
a clear intention if you want something to manifest.
Exactly.
Find one project and do it well. I feel. Yeah, I think especially with folks our age and musicians like ourselves, we definitely spread ourselves too thin, and that's advice to that's advice to give.
Yeah.
Bo Show, what is it about your performances and your music as Public Mind that make y'all unique?
We've got I'd say a huge diversity of sound. Between where we came from, our roots, and more of the punk scene, and our drummer also has roots in that as well. And then Jason and Justin Hadden bringing a more folky. Their project is a folk country project, so they bring in some different vibes, and the way that it all meshes together is quite beautiful, man.
Yeah, and so the way I see it with what makes our live performances unique is that, oh man, well, I had it a moment ago, but
I'd say, well, I mean,
okay, so
this is.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the way I see it is that
Espouse it, man.
all right. So
We bring the energy.
The
we
energy,
definitely bring the
ultimately.
energy. I mean, this guy's got his shirt off minute one of every set and jumping around, basically
top off.
doing full
You do.
cardio. He's getting.
I don't think I've ever been to one of your shows where your top didn't come off. Yeah.
well, see, the thing is, if when we were playing live, it's not really about sounding perfect. It's about bringing the energy and bringing the energy to the room from ourselves, and because that seems to be really what livens up the crowd, and it livens us up on stage. I mean, course, if we've got one person in the crowd, we're going to play the same as if we've got thousands of people in the crowd, because we're just trying to make that person's show special.
Yeah, the songs are basically like a vehicle, you know, and if you totally get in there and take the ride, it's awesome, and it's much more fun that way, playing to no matter how many people you're playing to, take the ride, you know, like.
And don't worry about the mistakes. Don't worry about the mistakes. You're going to make them wrong. So, like, just if you can just make someone feel the way that you feel, or even the way they want to feel, then you've done your job as a musician.
100%. Well, it's about time. We're going to wrap up. But before we do that, in the future, we manifest you on one of the bigger stages that you guys have wanted to be on for a while. Who's on your lineup?
As far as you know, on the
Anybody.
bill,
Anybody.
bands on the bill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
we've
wow.
already said Red Hot Chili Peppers and Rancid and Coheed and Cambria. Coheed and Cambria.
Local
Yeah, I
or
mean-
far?
I mean, bands that are, you know, it would be, we would have to open, but a band like the Mars Volta, I think,
yeah.
like we went and saw them this past fall, and that was top 3 most amazing shows I've ever seen in my life. Those guys, you know, do something with music that nobody, it's almost like you're watching them play and they're doing something completely different than we're doing. Like, we're both playing music, but they're doing something completely different. So Mars Volta and also the Sound of Animals Fighting would be another really cool band to play with.
The sound's just so diverse in both of those band songs. I mean, they go from one extreme to the complete opposite, and that's amazing. I mean, if we're going to throw some local bands on this bill, we'd love to have Baby Boy on there.
Thank
There you go.
Even Raw Butter, because we like to we don't like playing genre specific shows as much, because we like to bring a diversity to the bill, because I mean, music's music. It's not about what style of music it is. It's about just the love, the appreciation for anyone else's art.
Yeah, I definitely think that's one thing about us, is we don't, you know, I don't feel like we fit into any genre label that perfectly, you know, and you know, we're willing to play with whoever, wherever, whenever. Good music is good music.
All right, Shakira.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you again for coming in. I'm so
Thank
excited to
you
hear
guys
you
so
guys
much.
play. Yeah.
Thank you for having us, Sample Augusta. We love
I love you. We love you.
Been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And can't wait to hear your play. We'll catch up soon.
All right, sounds good.
On sight, my stomach drops, twisting and turning, oh, it feels of lead.